Hi everyone, welcome back to Mr. Allen's World As Is. Today we're looking at a fascinating topic, living things and their habitats. Stay tuned, hope you enjoy it. We're also going to take a closer look at plants and flowers. Look at the processes like photosynthesis and phototropism and how they help the plant. Let's begin our journey into the amazing world of plants and animals. Come with me, find out more. Let's start by looking at the parts of a flower and their functions. Flowers are the reproductive parts of plants. They help plants produce seeds so new plants can grow. Let's have a look at the different parts of a flower. Petals, the attraction. Petals are colourful and often have the sense to attract insects like bees and butterflies. Sepals, the protection. These small green leaves protect the flower bud before it opens. The stamen, the male part of the flower. The stamen makes pollen, which contains the male gametes. It has two parts, the anther, which produces pollen, and the filament, which holds the anther up. The carpel, or some people call it the pistil, the female part of the flower. The carpel collects pollen and it helps make seeds. It has three parts, the stigma, the sticky top where pollen lands, the style, a tube that carries pollen to the ovary, and the ovary holds ovules which contain the female gametes. When pollen reaches the ovule, fertilization happens and the ovary grows into a fruit with seeds inside. Pollination and fertilization. Pollination is how pollen moves from one flower to another so fertilization can happen. There are two ways this can happen. Insect pollination. Bees and butterflies carry pollen from flower to flower while collecting nectar. Wind pollination. Some plants, like grasses, release light pollen into the air where the wind carries it to other flowers. Once pollen lands on the stigma, a pollen tube grows down to the ovary where the male and female gametes combine. This is called fertilization. This is sexual reproduction. After fertilization, the ovule becomes a seed, the ovary grows into a fruit, the petals and other flower parts fall away. This process ensures plants can grow into new generations. Here's another great scientific fact about plants and flowers. Have you ever noticed how they seem to bend towards the sunlight? Take my orchid here. The leaves and the flowers seem to bend towards the window where the sunlight is coming from. This is for a process known as phototropism. Now, phototropism is a scientific process that the flowers and plants go through to enable them to bend towards the light. And it's to do with auxins. Now, auxins are cells that are in the tip of the plants and flowers, and the auxins that are facing, the cells that are facing the sunlight, elongate, which enables them to bend towards the sunlight. And the ones facing away stay the same length, which is why some of the leaves are facing away. Now, phototropism works both ways. Okay, some plants love the sunlight and they want as much as possible for photosynthesis, and some plants don't like the sunlight as much and use phototropism in the opposite way to enable to then bend away from the light a little bit too. Also, have you ever wondered how plants get their energy? Well, I mentioned photosynthesis when we talked about phototropism, but what is actually photosynthesis? Well, it's a process that plants have in order for them to create energy, in order for them to grow. So, what does my orchid need for photosynthesis? Well, it needs the sunlight, of course. It comes from the sun, that's the energy. Next, it needs some water. There we go, have a nice drink. The water goes into the soil, it gets soaked up by the roots just like a straw, and then it travels up the stem and leaves of the plant. The third thing it needs is carbon dioxide, and that's the stuff that we breathe out. So it works well, really, doesn't it? we breathe out carbon dioxide and the plant gives off oxygen. So we have the oxygen and produce carbon dioxide. Plants have carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. Now the magic begins. Inside the leaves there's something called chloroplasts, and these three things, sunlight, carbon dioxide and the water, mix together, and they're like little kitchens. That's where the energy and food for the plant is produced for it to grow big and strong, and that's where the plant then breathes out oxygen for us to breathe in. So when you look at plants, remember that they're using photosynthesis to keep our planet healthy and beautiful. So next time you see a plant, remember it's using sunlight to make its own food, just like a little factory. Isn't that amazing? Aren't plants amazing? They make their own food with a trick called photosynthesis. They use sunlight, water from the ground, and air called carbon dioxide. Like magic, they turn it into sugary food and release oxygen. That's why plants are super important. So really, the definition of photosynthesis is converting light energy into chemical energy, which is the food for the plant to grow. Seeds need to move. It's called seed dispersal, and it's how new plants grow in different places. First is wind dispersal. Light seeds, like dandelions, float away on the breeze, just like the ones you can see here. Some seeds, like sycamore, have wings to help them spin and travel further. Some fruits like coconuts are buoyant, which means they can float long distances and can grow in unexpected places. Animals help too. They eat berries and nuts and spread the seeds in their droppings or on the fur, or bury them in the ground and forget about them. And some, like peas, explode. The pod bursts, scattering the seeds far and wide. This stops them from all growing too close together. Asexual reproduction, which is cloning in plants. Flowering plants need sexual reproduction to reproduce, which means they need both the male and female gametes in order to reproduce and form a seed. Some plants reproduce asexually, which means they do not need two plants. They only need one parent, and they clone themselves. They can do this in two ways. The first is tubers, which is underground storage. Tubers store food underground and grow new shoots. For example, potatoes, new plants grow from small buds called eyes. And dahlias, these flower from underground tubers. Then we have runners. Some plants grow long stems called runners that spread across the ground. New plants grow from these runners. For example, strawberries. The runners produce small plants. And spider plants, they grow tiny plantlets on long stems. Asexual reproduction allows plants to spread quickly without needing pollen or seeds. Why is reproduction so important? Reproduction is essential because it helps species survive and ecosystems stay balanced. Without pollination, many plants wouldn't grow new seeds. Pollinators like bees are vital for plant reproduction, but are in danger due to habitat loss and pesticides. How can we help? Well, we can help by planting flowers that attract pollinators, avoid harmful pesticides, and protect natural environments. By understanding reproduction, we can appreciate the importance of nature and do our part to protect it. Hope you enjoyed this lesson today. What's your favourite plant? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and remember, science is all around us.